Hello YouTube, Komodo Gaming here, bringing you another episode of Scrap Mechanic. Today we're going to build a sprint car. I've got a little dirt track built here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use it. I'm trying to think of how big this car is going to wind up being. But anyways, if you don't know what a sprint car is, it's a dirt oval car. They're popular here in the US. I know they're also popular in some places in the world. They're a little hard to explain. If you want to look at a picture of one, just to kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like. But they're just little fun cars, and I thought it'd be something that I could probably make work in Scrap Mechanic. So let's go ahead and pick some parts out here. These things are, like I said, these are tricky cars, and I know I'm going to face several problems here. The front suspension is going to be one of them. It's not; these aren't really wide cars. Like, there's just enough room for a driver in them, and I'm gonna have walls on the side of it, and the front's really pretty small, so I'm gonna have to somehow fit the suspension in there. So that's gonna be interesting. And also, there's a big slanted wing on top of it, and that's gonna be. I think I have an idea of how I'm gonna do that. That might not be too hard, but that's also something that's gonna. I mean, you have to have that wing for it to look any bit like a sprint car. So let's build a base. We're gonna make the base out of wood. Of course, any weight you can shed off these cars is gonna be good. I am going to build the outside out of this using these metal blocks just to make it look good. I don't want like a wood sprint car. I want an actual metal looking sprint car. So let's go ahead and start building this base up here. Like I said, the driver is completely surrounded. I mean, there's no doors on it. He's got to climb in that left side. The right side's completely different than the left. There's going to be, and I'm not going to be able to do it the way a real sprint car is. The right rear tire in a sprint car is really wide. It's wider than the left rear. I don't know how. I mean, I can't. There's not different sizes in Scrap Mechanic, so it's going to be tricky to change that. I might extend the suspension out a little bit, since these cars, we're going to be turning left the whole time. They really lean on that right rear, so I might be able to extend that suspension out a little bit and kind of mimic that effect of a wider tire on the right rear. So, yeah, we'll probably experiment with that. And I'm using these pesky blocks, and I wish they just had a solid block of this color metal. But I'm trying to make sure there's no like exposed like holes or anything that looks weird on the vehicle. Let's see. I'm also going to have to stare at a picture of a sprint car here in a second because, I don't know, just looking back and forth, I need to really take this in and make sure I make the body right. So I'm gonna look at this for a moment and make sure it's good. Okay. I stared at it for a little bit. I think I have an idea of how I'm going to do this. Initially I wanted to put a roll cage in it, but I can't fit it in there. I mean, I'd have to make the vehicle even wider, and these things are not wide, so I'm going to mimic that there's a roll cage in it. I'm going to like pop the pipes out the top of the body here, so it kind of looks like there's an actual cage. But realistically, there's not. I mean, it's always for cosmetic purposes. I mean, it does help, like if you flip over, of course you don't kill the driver, but you can't kill the driver anyways in Scrap Mechanic, so it's really just there for cosmetic. Let's see, let's build this back up a little bit. I mean, these things are, just thinking, if you ever seen any footage of these things in real life, they're just rockets with wheels. I mean, they're crazy. You're going to have a motor strapped in the front. There's the big gas tanks on the back, and that's really it. And the only other parts of the car really are, of course, the different tires and the big wing on top. So it's going to be interesting to see if this turns out right. I don't want it just to look right. I actually want it to work, so that's going to be another challenge. Here's what I'm talking about by the roll cage popping out the top. Something like that. We'll make the bars go forward and go back into the body here. So, and also those bars on top are going to act. That's where the big top wing is going to set on top of. So I need to figure out how I want to do that. Okay, that clears my head, or just clears my head. It should be good enough. I'm going to have a big wing on top, so you're not going to, if my head pokes out a little bit, you're not going to really notice. I don't want to make it too tall. One thing, I'm going to make that wing out of metal, so I have a feeling this thing's going to be a little top heavy. These cars flip really easy anyways. let me switch this up. I want to have 4 points poking out the top for that wing. But anyways, these cars, they flip really easy. So, I mean, if it winds up being top heavy and flips over, it's not strange. I'm not saying that the real cars are top heavy. They just flip because they're lightweight and really powerful, and they go really fast. But I have a feeling I'm going to have a little bit of issue with weight. Let's see. That'll work for the cockpit here. I don't know. Let's build up one more, like the wall up just a little bit here. I don't want the driver. The driver on the left side always looks kind of exposed, but I will have some like mufflers and stuff poking out the side, and also there's like a bar there that kind of protects the driver, I guess, from somebody driving up in the side of him. Looking at the picture again here. I'm also gonna have to. I'm gonna have a bigger bar on the right side of the vehicle. And that actually might work, because I have a feeling this vehicle is going to want to try to roll a lot when you're turning, so maybe that bar will catch it a little bit. Let's see. Let's go ahead and close we'll close the front of the cockpit up, and we'll start building making everything slant forward. I'm going to stick the motor. I might have to build the motor right. I mean, it's going to be right there. I'm going to have to clear it, so that's going to be a little awkward. Let's see. Let's go ahead and start making this go down, and probably do this in front of the driver here. That looks pretty good. Looks like it clears. Cockpit looks pretty cool. Yeah, we'll throw our motor probably right here in the middle. Let's go ahead and sprint cars. One thing I've noticed about the front ends, they all kind of differ a little bit. I've seen just as far as the slants go in the front. So I'm gonna have to. Oh, that's not gonna clear. I'm gonna have to build that further back. But yeah, I'll have to build this over. So the slants might not be 100% right in the front, but I think it'll look good. So we'll just finish that up here. Alright, I've covered the motor. It took me a while to work these slants out to make sure everything looked right and everything was covered. I'm going to build the front suspension. I have an ideal for this, and I don't know if it's going to work. I don't think I've ever built it quite like this, quite like I'm going to do here. They're really close together, but that's going to be the only way it's going to look right. I can't have the front can't be really wide. Maybe we'll do the bearings here. We'll poke it out. I'm actually going to make it go up here, because I am going to need a spring in here. This is one of those vehicles that it's going to need to. The suspension's going to need to give. No, those are upside down. Let's maybe go ahead and just go out a little further here. I don't know, maybe something like that, and we'll come down, and then we'll do the springs, and then we'll have the tires. I'm gonna have to do the smaller tires in the front, and then I'm gonna do the big ones. It bothers me a little bit. I wish there was more of a variety of like tire types in Scrap Mechanics. But we're gonna have to deal with kind of what we got right now. Let's see. All right, we're on to the back. The back suspension is gonna be simple. I mean, it's just poles go up. These pipes are gonna just go down. I'm gonna have a shock back here, and these don't need to turn. Like I said, everything turns off the front end of the vehicle. Now, this right side, I'm not really sure 100% what I'm going to do. I'm going to just make them even for now, but I might have to poke this right side out further, just to kind of mimic the way the tire works on a sprint car. Next, I'm going to work on the gas tank, and I'm probably going to lower that front end. That bumper in the front's a little high, and I'm going to put a little muffler, just use some pipes on here, but I'll probably skip over most of that. So, let's see. Let's go on to the next thing. Alright, we've placed the front end, the back end. I had a little bit of issues. When I started turning the wheel, it was being blocked by the body, as you can see here, and it's no longer being blocked. Also, saying, like I said, it leans. I'm going to have to extend that right rear out to the right to catch it, because right now it just wants to tip over. It's got a lot of power. It's kind of cool. It likes to pop wheelies. I mean, if you watch sprint cars in real life, when they're on longer straightaways, the front ends will lift up. They're, like I said, they're quite remarkable machines. Let's see. think I can get away with putting a little bit more here. Like I said, you're gonna see those gaps there, which I would have liked to have covered them up, but I need enough to where the suspension and all that actually turns. Because the first time I did it, it wouldn't turn. I mean, it had such a wide turning radius, and these things need to be able to snap. That you need to be able to snap that steering in the front, back and forth. So next, I'm probably gonna. Well, I'm close to building the top big wing. I'm gonna put a controller on the bottom, and I'll make it to where I can slant that wing up in the front forward. So we're gonna do that, and we actually don't have that much more to go. So, all right. I've changed some things. I put the controller on. I've got this slant at 4 now. It doesn't need to slant very far. It just needs to poke forward just a little bit. I think I'm going to build these out of... maybe let's make these go up here and make it look like it's really only using one bearing to poke forward. You can't make a bunch of bearings work together. So I don't think I'm going to clear that front part, but that back part should be fine. All right, let's think. Let me think here. I'm looking at a picture again. I don't know. Let's just make sure I've got the right blocks here. I can't think of anything else to use. I wish I had some really skinny blocks, but I don't. The basic block is fine for the base of it, but there's end plates on the wing, and I wish I had a skinny block for that. But I'm probably going to wind up having to use just the big block here, which is kind of a shame, but I don't know. Can't make everything perfect right now, but I would like a little better, a little more variety in blocks. So I'm thinking something like this, and that does look like it's at the right angle. So I mean, it looks good, but I wish I had skinny end plates. Actually, no, I don't need a bunch of holes exposed on the top, so let's correct that and flip that back over. Something like that. Okay. It's going to take a little bit to get right. These are fairly wide wings. The end plates are different on each side. On the left side, say if you're looking forward, the left side end plate goes down, and on the right side it goes up. I'm assuming this is something to do with the downforce that the wing creates. Let's see. That looks fairly decent for the base. We'll have to go a little bit wider, and we'll start those end plates. Let's go a little forward here. And a little bit wider. Let's see. Okay, I think that'll work. We're going to go out, and we'll start. This is where the end plate, I believe, is going to start. And we'll go down a couple, and we'll go up on the other side. So I'm thinking something like this here. This looks correct. I'm really ready for a paint tool, because that'd be cool to be able to paint these. Does it look correct out the front? Well, actually, you know what? The end plate goes up a little on each side too, so I might need to add one layer to the other side. Not sure. Let's go ahead and make it just a little bit wider here, and then I'm going to go down just a hair on this side. I need to go up a hair on the other side, but this left side's going to go up more, so let's see. Try not to place a whole bunch of extra blocks here. And the only thing I'm worried about is, like I said, this thing's probably going to turn out to be a little top heavy, but I don't want to change materials on the, I could make it out of wood on the top. That kind of makes it look weird. So, we're just going to stick with the metal and hope for the best here. Of course, you can always take the wing off. They do run wingless sprints. So, I mean, if the vehicle itself works, you can always rip the wing off the top. But I want the wing on there just because it looks cool. Let's see. Let's go up. So something like that. That looks correct. I think we're about ready to start testing out, make some fine tuning adjustments. Just, I don't know. But I think we're ready to test out. We'll see how this works. All right, I did extend the ride out. We are doing a little test. This thing's gonna, yep, it's still top heavy. Let's flip it back over here. Let's see. These things take a lot of finesse to drive. It still pops a wheelie. Let's see if we can catch it and just kind of throw it around, see if we can throw it sideways. The right, it does turn actually pretty good to the left. The right suspension poking out the way it does has stabilized it some. Yeah, this actually works pretty good. It turns off, like it digs in on the right side and it kind of turns off of it too. Yeah, this actually looks pretty close to a sprint car, at least how it works. It looks a little big, but it's just kind of the parts I've been given in Scrap Mechanic. I might make the top wing just a hair bigger, but it works. I mean, I need a bigger oval, so I'm gonna have to go back and redo the track. I'm probably not gonna do that this episode, but I need to make the track longer and wider as far as the turns. I didn't think this vehicle was gonna turn out this big, but this works. It pops the wheelie on the straightaways, and then once you dig into the corner, kick sideways. Got to have to counter steer a little bit, and then if you look at these things in the corner, a lot of times the left rear's off the ground, just kind of hopping around, and oh. Anyways, well, I'm actually really happy with the way this turned out. I do think I can do a little bit of work on the wing, but I think this will probably turn into a little bit of maybe a couple episodes of this. I want to correct this track, and then maybe build another dirt vehicle and work on this one a little bit. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. If you like the video, subscribe. You know, everything helps. The channel's building. It's gaining momentum. My videos, my Scrap Mechanic videos are doing really well. I will still introduce some other series, but you know, Scrap Mechanic's still going to be the main focus. So if you want to see more of those videos, just let me know. And like I said, if you have any comments or anything, just write it below. You know, I always check through my comments, and you know, I look for suggestions and all that. But anyways, we'll see you guys next time.